Hey everybody, welcome to another episode of the Empowering Youth Show, the show where we showcase amazing young people from around the world doing amazing things, and then every now and again we have amazing not so young person who is doing amazing things for young people, especially in the world of youth empowerment and youth leadership. And today's guest, I'm so excited. Let me get into it straight away before I bring him on, right? The person I'm going to bring to you, I've been excited, I've been waiting for this episode, is my brother Chuck Hogan, right? Now, Chuck, I want to give you the official intro like I do for everybody else, and then I can give you a long list of stuff that I personally know about it, but I promise not to embarrass him, maybe. So here we go. Chuck Hogan. Who is Chuck Hogan? First and foremost, whenever he introduces himself and whenever I first introduce him, I've always got to say that he's always introduced himself as a loving husband, a loving father of three amazing children. And we might even get to speak about them in a second. But he is also what we call a neurostrategist, right? So not just strategy, not just neuro. He knows how to help people rewire their brains, their minds, their hearts to experience life to its fullest, right? So let's keep going. Next, he is also one of the founders of YBL, Your Best Life. Google, check. Make sure you check in with Chuck. He'll share a bit about that in a second. Next, he conquered cancer. I don't need to say any more about that. So you start to understand where this guy comes from, what his drive is, his never give up spirit. Right? Also, he is a Tony Robbins trainer. He's been part of this is where we first really got together at the Global Youth Leadership Summit. And he's a team leader and a speaker. And literally, I think he's now coordinating the program and so on, because that's just an amazing spirit that he has. Leaders are not always the people that are in charge, but they're the people that take charge. That's who this guy is, right? And also, last but not least, he is a speaker at the Harry Singer Foundation Youth Leadership Summit, and we're so blessed to have him serving there. And even that picture there that I dug up, that's him at one of the stages, I think about 6-7 years ago at the Youth Leadership Summit. But I want to make sure that you understand what he's about. This guy is about, remember I always talk about authenticity and consistency? This is him. Authentically, consistently creating value and serving other people. That's what he's about. Let's bring him straight in without further ado. Welcome, Chuck, my brother. Are you there?
I'm here, brother. How are you, Harry?
I'm blessed. So blessed, man. Listen, when we don't even get to see each other that often now, but it's, just this is a blessing, and we get to share you to the rest of the world and the community and the Harry Singer Foundation YouTube show. So, Chuck, I've given that intro of who you are, but what I'd really love to do, just like everybody else, please give us a little bit of the backstory. Who is Chuck? What's the journey that got him to become a neurostrategist, to YBL, and even everything that you do now with youth leadership? Go ahead, just give us a rundown of what got you there.
It's amazing, Harry, and God bless you for hosting this forum where people can commune and connect and get to know each other. For me, life has been about living with purpose. And it really started off from a really young age, because I started to realize that identity that we have as to if we actually love ourselves, care about ourselves, understand who we are, is probably one of those most important things that we can ever acknowledge in life. When I was little, I'm an older dude, so I'll just put it out there. I was born in the 1960s, just a tad. Wow. So I was born in the 1960s, and I was born in Japan. And my mom is Japanese and my dad's Irish. Well, for any of you that know a little bit about the United States, there wasn't this thing called cultural diversity that was really looked at as being a great thing. So if you were white, awesome. My dad, he's white. My mom, not so much. And so here's what's kind of tricky about this. You grow up in Japan, you're not 100% Japanese, you're not considered Japanese. Yep. So we're living there, and people are going, yeah, you're kind of Japanese light. I'll put it that way. Not rude, not disconcerting, just not feeling like the warm and fuzzies from everybody. So when I'm 3, we moved to the United States. My dad was in the military, and so we moved to the United States. Now, keep in mind, my mom's 85 pounds, 4'11 and a half. My dad's a redhead, blue-eyed Irishman. And my brother and I come along, and we look Asian. Well, my dad is from a little town in way eastern portion of the United States called Maine. No disrespect, but that was like Deliverance of the North. It
Yeah,
is like
yeah.
a place where people are like going, if you're not Irish, you're not French Canadian or German, you really should not be hanging out here because
Mm,
we don't know
mm,
about you. So here was diversity in school.
yeah,
You know, my
yeah.
brother Harry's Asian, I'm Asian. I look really Asian when I'm little. There's one black girl and myself in school.
Mm.
Everybody else is pale from my model of the world. And they're like going, you don't look like us, man, but your name's Charles Francis Hogan II. I'm a little Asian looking kid that's named after my Irish grandfather. So I'm having identity crisis already. I just came from wearing kimonos and flip flops, living in a house based with tatami mats and, screen doors made out of bamboo and rice paper,
Yeah.
to New England, where it's columns and houses and horses and, chowder and beachfront. And it's like, this is a whole different thing to me.
Yeah, yeah.
And I felt like a kid without a country because we go back to Japan and I'm Japanese light.
Mm.
I come to the United States, you don't belong here. And the interesting thing is that when you're little, you don't know what you don't know. You don't even know that other people are judging you. But here's the weird part, you start judging yourself.
Yeah, yeah.
And I didn't feel comfortable in my own skin. So I didn't have any friends but my brother. We're 13 months apart. So it was literally my mom, my dad, and I, when my dad was home, because he's in the military, so he's overseas. So why do I share this with you? It wasn't until 38 years later, roughly, at an event with Mr. Tony Robbins, that I went through this little process and I started to figure out why I push so hard, why I have set these standards that most people are going, you're psychotic. This is
Mm,
nuts. Oh, it must be because you got an Asian mom who was a teacher and you got an Irish dad who was in the military, so disciplined. I said, no, I'm hungry.
mm, mm.
I'm hungry for knowledge. I'm hungry to belong. I'm hungry to feel worthy. Now, maybe you can relate, and maybe you can't, but I'm just going to tell you, for a long time in my life, I didn't feel worthy. I felt like I was broken in some way, shape, or form because my skin was a different color, because my eyes were lighter. In Japan, I go, "Donde? Your eyes are green." And they're like, that's not Japanese. That's not Japanese. And then you're in Maine, and I go, you're kind of dark. I said, I'm black Irish. It's a different kind of Irish.
Yeah,
And
not
so
white, not white enough to be white, and not Japanese enough to be Japanese. Got it.
and now people look at me and they go, come on, dude, you're not even Asian. Everyone thinks I'm like my wife's family. So my wife's from Nicaragua. They're like, hola, ¿cómo estás? I was like, I don't speak Spanish. They're like, what do you mean you don't speak Espanol? Like, I don't speak Spanish. I'm not Spanish. They're like, really?
Yeah.
So why do I share this? We're all from someplace. And the truth is, if I took away your eyes and all you could hear was my voice, you'd probably guess I'm from the United States or somewhere thereabouts. If I took away your hearing and all you could do was see me, you may go, huh,
Where's he from?
he looks like he's from Hawaii. And I've had that before too. Yeah, brah, what up?
Yeah.
The most important thing is that you understand something. Your value doesn't come from what other people think about you. That's none of your business. That's their business. Your business is how you feel in your heart.
Mm.
Who you are. For years, I thought if I was faster, stronger, more intelligent, more articulate, more polite, more centered, more present. Hear the operable word in all this, more. I didn't feel like I was enough. I always needed more. If I just learned one more thing, took on one more thing, added one more thing. And then life hit and I understood something. Because, as Harry mentioned, I'm a cancer conqueror. And in 2009, because I kept taking on more and more and more and more. Although I had made the shift where I loved and appreciated myself, I forgot one thing. There's a compounding effect if you don't let go of.
Mm.
Ah, that was the lesson. I started realizing that the more I took on, God gave me broad shoulders. I'm little, but I'm mighty. I'm like a little spark plug. Anyone that sees me knows that my energy is way bigger than my body.
Especially when he's
And
dancing.
don't, if there's music, my body takes over, my mind goes away. And, but here's the best part about that: the freedom that comes from dance, the freedom that comes from owning yourself, the freedom that comes from knowing that you're not broken, that no one's to blame, that you are brilliant the way that you were created. And it
Mm.
doesn't mean that you stop growing. Because what's the universal rule of life? If you're not growing, you're.
Dying. Yeah. Dying.
And here's the saddest part: if you're constantly looking for the balance in your life, you're not moving anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm going to offer something to each and every one of you. Imagine you love being on top of a mountaintop. And how do you climb the mountain?
From bottom.
One step at a time.
Yeah.
One step at a time. Because if you charge the mountain and you're running up the mountain, you're going to get burnt out before you even get a quarter of the way up. Because the air gets thin up there. But if you look and you see the path and you take time and you see the topography and you take in the beauty, you breathe in the air, you pace yourself. It's not a race, it's the journey. And you get to the top. Well, did you even celebrate that you got to the top? Some people don't even celebrate the fact that they're making progress. And so they go, okay, Uncle Harry, how do I get there the fastest way? Time's not on my side. Go, well, actually, the truth is, time's the one thing that you get to allocate.
Yep.
Time is the one thing that if you put in the hourglass and you flip it over, it's always running. It doesn't make a difference. So if you're sleeping, you're burning time. If you're playing, you're burning time. If you're learning, you're burning time. Loving, burning time. So if you're burning time, make it worth it.
100%.
Make it worth it.
100%.
Create that value. Own you. Love you. Because if you don't put the oxygen mask on you, what do they tell you on any airplane flight?
Put your mask on first.
Yeah, they don't say put it on everybody else and you pass out. If you're not taking care of you first, self-care is not selfish. It's necessary. It's imperative.
Yeah, that's a big gift there, Chuck, for especially for those that are viewing who are people who are serving youth.
Yes.
We're kindred spirits, but listen to what Chuck is saying, and that is, if you're not looking after yourself, you're going to be struggling. You're going to put that mask on first. And Chuck, you talked about, experience and journey. I want to make sure that you share. We're going to get to a point where you share some more tools with the viewers, but I want to make sure that they get to capture some of your experiences at youth leadership summits or youth empowerment programs, or even with your own amazing kids. It's like, let's capture some of those, beautiful moments, because we know as we get to serve young people, we get so much back, right? So let's get a flavor of some of your experiences, Joe.
Well, so contribution, of course, is pretty much the essence of life. The world gets better through contribution. That also means self-contribution. That means that being your best. So I have a saying that it's kind of a family mantra. You can be doing your best, but never being your best. But if you're being your best, truly your authentic best, you will always do your best.
Correct.
And it's about being present. So as Harry mentioned, I've had the pleasure of being involved with his organization, as well as Mr. Robbins' foundation for the Global Youth Leadership Summit. And I can remember very clearly there was a year where we had, without getting too specific, because I don't want to embarrass anyone, but I would
especially if it's me.
Yeah. Most of the time,
he's got too many secrets about me, but that's another episode.
Well, when you're brothers from another, then that's what happens, because you're connected. And I will share this. One of the biggest lessons that I've ever taken away from any environment where we are creating life enhancement, because please, if you are a contributor to the wellness and care of another human being, You are a life enhancer, not a life changer. Please hear me clearly. No one needs to be changed. Your life is beautiful and brilliant. All we are doing is enhancing what's already amazing. Because we're not broken, none of us. And none of us needs to be fixed. There's no fixing. We were at an event where we had these two amazing sisters from abroad. And one is an absolute freaking stellar athlete. Like, she would blow away most of the boys. She was faster, stronger, didn't speak very good English, didn't have to. She let her actions do all the speaking. Remarkable, natural leader. Didn't even have a strong grasp of the English language, but could communicate so well. Her sister had an autoimmune disease that, and I'll share why this is so powerful. She had an autoimmune disease and had a very difficult time in walking and in talking. And you could see that any kind of physical exertion on her body showed up very quickly. But heart of a lioness, like, oh, I mean, even just thinking about it, it just so inspired by this beautiful soul, just to see how she showed up, always smiling, always just engaging 1,000,000%. Well, here's what's interesting. I didn't know they were sisters.
I remember.
Because the one who was the athlete never acknowledged her sister, never even gave her the time of day. In fact, thought she was kind of a nuisance. And when you excel at everything, academics, athletics, anything physical that you call on your body on, you don't necessarily look up to someone who has those challenges. You don't find inspiration. So every day there's this thing called leader of the day. And of course, the athletic one, very first day, leader of the day. In fact, I think she got leader of the day like 2 or 3 days in a row.
Yeah.
Everyone's like going, yeah, woo, let's celebrate her. She's amazing. On the very last day, we have leader of the week. And in this other group, unbeknownst to us, her sister was leader of the week. Sorry.
No, I remember. None of us knew.
Oh, man.
None of us knew they were sisters until that moment.
No.
Go ahead, just go ahead, man. Tell everybody what happened.
Yeah, I mean, it was a trip, because you're like going, you knew they were from the same country, but you had no clue. We just thought they were part of the same group because there was like a contingent of like 13 of them there together. And so this beautiful soul struggles up to the stage, gets a huge hug from her team lead, and gets her medal and her reward, and is named leader of the week. So they're both on stage. And the more athletic sister asked if she could borrow the microphone for a minute. And I'll never forget this as long as I live. It was one of the most heartwarming moments I've ever experienced in my entire life. And she's crying. And it's of happiness, of joy. But remember, I said it's what we let go of that sets us free. And she is, I mean, this is a woman, she's pretty articulate, and she is like blithering, just like. And she grabs this other young woman and says, "Come here. I want all of you to know that this is my sister." And not like, oh, this is my sister from another mister. This is my blood sister. And the truth is, I have been embarrassed to tell anyone that this is my sister.
Mm-hmm.
And I have to tell you, she's beautiful, she's brilliant, she's amazing, she's remarkable, and I couldn't be more proud. I'm humbled to be here with her. I believe that moment was the first moment in their lives that allowed them to actually be true sisters. I believe that in that moment, there was so much pain that was released. She hands the sister to her, the mic to her sister because she wanted it. She's asking for it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And she's helping hold her up, and she says, "I've always been proud to be your sister.
Yeah.
It's all I ever needed to be." And of course, the other sister is just like, oh, she's a heat by now. And we're all crying, and I'm crying now. And it's
Yeah,
like,
what a magic moment.
but it's because it was so beautiful. Hear me, please. In fact, I'm imploring you. Be yourself. Because being anything less than you is a sham. It's a farce. You're a grifter. You're running a game. Faking it till you make it is baloney. You're not broken. You're brilliant. There's no fixing. You're fantastic. You don't need courage. You need centerness. You don't need frivolity. You need faith. You need to believe that you're not broken. And that the one thing that we all have, irrespective of what financial circumstances, cultural circumstances, we all have resourcefulness.
100%.
And it doesn't mean that you're always going to get yeses, everyone.
Yeah.
But you need to ask the question, how can I create more value? Ask yourself this question right now. And if you want to know a real quick way to get there fast, to be present, ask yourself this question. How do I need to feel most often? Not want to. How do I need to feel most often? And if you say happy, connected, strong, centered, guided, faithful, loving, don't get addicted to hopium. Hopium is a very addictive state, and it's an addictive drug. It actually feeds your neuroreceptors in your body. When you're hoping things are going to get better, instead of being an active participant in your own salvation, you're going to get what you tolerate. So I actually have, with your permission, Harry.
Yeah, please do really move into. Yeah, share something now. Everybody that is watching, I wanted to make sure you get a feel of that. It's like there are a million mega magic moments that we've shared, right? So I just want you to understand is, just you've got a feel of what lights us up. What I wanted to do now is move it into the last part where get Chuck to share some of the tools or strategies that he uses that you as a young person can use yourself, because right now people are hurting, and young people are hurting even more so because they don't have so much control in what they can and cannot do. So please, I'm going to get Chuck to share something, and if you're someone that works with young people, our job is to serve you, because we help the helpers. So Chuck, go ahead, man. Let's share some. You've been given some nuggets all the way through, right? So please, people, at the end, I'm going to make sure that you can, on the channel, you can leave comments and stuff for Chuck. Let know what you value. But Chuck, go ahead. Let's share some tool strategy for them. Go for it.
No, absolutely. So one of the main things is that we get to decide how we want to feel most often. So that means we get to be present. And one of the fastest ways to get present instantaneously, I'm talking within seconds, I'm going to teach you a technique that some people go, oh, they do that in martial arts. Well, guess what? People do this when they're meditating. They do this in prayer. They do this when they're just being in gratitude. And that is slow down. Life is racing around us. And there can be a cacophony of things. Most of the time when we get upset, when we feel out of control, it's because we're going way too fast. Slow down. And so how do we do that? Sit up strong in your chair. Take a deep breath in through your nose and exhale out your mouth. And we're just going to do this 5 or 6 times.
Let's go.
Next breath in. Allow your eyes to slowly relax and close. Take a deep breath in. And exhale out. Nice deep moan out. On the next deep breath in, you're going to actually give the air a color as it's passing by the tip of your nose, right at your nostril, whatever color that is for you. Brilliant, bright, crystal clear. Deep breath in. Flowing and free. Exhale out. Just allow it to ease out of your body. See the color so effortless and clear as you breathe in passing right by the tip of your nose. You can see it, feel it. Now as you see the color, you're going to actually give it the most aromatic, beautiful scent that you love to smell. Whatever that is for you. Then you take the next deep breath in. Imagine this color and this scent permeating through every cell of your body. You can feel it expanding from your lungs, spreading through that beautiful heart that beats over 100,000 times a day. As it permeates through every capillary, every vein, it's spreading through your cells, radiating from your chest all the way up, past your shoulders, up your neck, cascading over the top of your head. As it floats down, past your diaphragm and your abdomen, down past your tummy, over your hips, down your knees, you feel it just smoothly sliding down as every breath, deep breath in, flowing free out. As you take your next step, breath in, allow your eyes to open, feeling great. You're completely centered. That takes moments. I've gotten it down now where I can take 2 or 3 breaths and be completely present just like that. You can do the exact same thing. How important is air? I'm going to tell you right now. You need air, you need water, you need food, you need shelter, and then the one need that many people neglect is you need love and connection. Most people are looking for this last one outside of themselves, and what this does is allow you in that moment to add gratitude to that breathing technique and know that you're not broken in your present. This is Sadhguru's definition of faith. Faith is the knowledge that you know you're alive. Because your eyes open, your lungs work, your heart is beating, and you have another opportunity each and every day to show up as your 100%. Best self. 100%. That is faith. Beautiful. Everything else is a choice. Beautiful. But you being your best self is a gift. Absolute gift. You know, Chuck, that sounds really cool. I'm present now. Now how do I get the outcomes and goals? Because I have a vision to change the world, to end suffering, to help support other young adults, to help support my community, my family, my friends. Beautiful. So let's go ahead and get clarity on how we do that. Because a lot of times we measure by the doings. That's fine. We're going to show you how to get there even faster and deliberate. So it's a technique called RPM. It's called the Results Planning Method. In the past, we always start off with the result first. Now here's what's interesting. What happens if you create a result? What does the brain tell you if you got 99% of the way there, but you didn't meet it 100%? Did you pass or fail?
Fail. That's what the brain says.
That's because that's it. That's what the brain says. The brain is binaries. It's zeros and ones, black and white. So let's put this results away because we don't need it right now. Because if we're taking results and we're linking them to a purpose, we're backing into an emotion. I'd rather meet it head on so I know exactly, because where's your heart? Is it located on your front or your back? That's right, your front. So let's use what the universe gave us as our measuring system. So we're going to put this away. We're going to start with purpose. We're going to go ahead and link to an unbelievably strong purpose. And this purpose is not going to be how we're going to do it. It's going to be why. How do I need to feel most often? Not how I want to feel. Many people are chasing their wants. I want a Ferrari. I need transportation. If you're a family of 5, the Ferrari's not working. I'm just letting you know. Unless you like riding on the hood or the roof. Okay? So let's get clear about how we create this, and that is, how do I want to feel most often? Well, I'll give you mine. I want to be happy. I want to feel fulfilled. I want to feel like life matters. Like my moments spent are in contribution, loving, connecting, sharing, and caring. Cool. Now, why is this so important? Well, because if you don't have a strong purpose, how are you able to hold on to anything if you don't have a strong purpose? If that purpose is right there and it's holding on to what I need in life, what if I take that purpose away? Wait, those are my hopes, my dreams. That's my happiness. You just took my happiness away. No, your happiness got bumped. Something else happened. COVID took away your connection to other people because you couldn't see them in person. Life conditions happen, finances, global warming, whatever the case might be. But if you don't have a strong purpose, you might as well just crawl up in a ball right now. So let's not focus on what we don't want. Let's focus on what we need. And what we need is a strong purpose. Second thing is, we're not going to go to outcomes and goals. We're going to go point ourselves in the right direction. What needs to happen in order for me to feel this happiness, this connection, this love? Anytime I hug my wife, anytime I have conversation with my kids, anytime I'm communing with other world influencers like Harry, Tammy Kling, all these people that we know that are just brilliant human beings that share love, light, and happiness. Anytime that you serve and give even a portion of who you are to another human being in time, energy, intention, connection, knowledge, that's brilliant. It's amazing. We even say this. Hey, Harry, what direction? Oh, we're headed in the right direction, Chuck. How do you know? I feel it. I feel it. I know we're headed in the right direction. That's awesome, man. No, wait, but what happens if you run into a detour? I freaking love detours. I just found another way to get to the same place, and I just saw, I didn't know that shop was there. I didn't know that restaurant was there. You know they have the best falafel there? Oh my gosh. I never would have even known. All these amazing gifts come from detours. And they go, all right, dude. I got to call you out, though. I've been headed in the wrong direction for a while. I go, brilliant. They're like, okay, you're not right. You're a little out there. I go, no, listen. Do you just not remember the road that you were just on? You know exactly where you need to turn. You need to take a left at Albuquerque, not a right. It's okay. So we're just going to go back. We already know that road that was traveled. It was beautiful then. It's beautiful now. Mm-hmm. We're headed back in the right direction. But here's what's cool about heading in the right direction. You don't judge it. You don't say it's right and you don't say it's wrong. You enjoy the journey. How do you want to flavor it along the way? What do you want to experience? Who did you get to meet? Who did you get to love? Who did you get to be? And that brings us to the next level. State. We get to decide who we are and what we'll never stand for again. I'm loving. I'm kind. I'm generous. I'm funny as heck. I have energy for days. What won't I be? I refuse to be judgmental. I refuse to be short with people. I refuse to tolerate indecision and indiscretion. I'm going to be deliberate. And I'm going to make sure I'm feeling the way I need to feel and I'm headed in the right direction. Wow. This is powerful. Because now when we own this presence, when we own this body, mind, and spirit, now when we come with outcomes and goals, it's a full body experience. And it's not just good for you. It's not just good for another person. It's good for you and everyone else around you. It's a level 3 relationship. It's powerful. And then we take mammoth action. We decide this is the actions. We don't say it's right or wrong. We know we're heading in the right direction. We're in the right state. We've come out with some amazing goals and outcomes, and they're all based on the right purpose. This provides you with every ounce of resources you possibly can imagine. If you're willing to let go.
100%. 100%. And there you have it, guys. You have a full-on system within your hand. Make sure you rewind, watch the video again, take notes. Usually, sometimes when people are speaking, I'm taking notes, but I just want you to understand the other gift that my brother from another mother just gave you is about being present. And Chuck, thank you so much again for being so present, for not just giving like one gift, you're giving me an abundance of gifts. And I know that comes from you letting go. And you know, like we say, time is our precious gift that we all have the same amount of time. So thank you for sharing your time. But please, I want you to share how the viewers, the listeners can carry on checking in and following your journey. And, you know, maybe through whatever systems you have, you could carry on sharing many of those magic moments and some amazing, powerful tools from like a master neurostrategist. So go ahead, Chuck. How can people follow you and find out what's going on?
The easiest way is that we actually have a website that is going to be up in the next couple of days. Actually, it's called yblnow.com, and it is a series that my partners and we are actually neurostrategists and practitioners in not only business but in personal life. Because again, how you do anything is how you do everything. So if you can build a business, if you can build a foundation, a nonprofit, if you can build a movement, you can stay in contact with me there. You can always email me at chuck@yblnow.com. And just know I will send to you all my contact information. This will be backed up with an Instagram page as well as a Facebook page as well. Really, at the end of the day, it comes down to collaboration. You being a part of a community of like-minded and like-hearted souls. So I'm going to leave you with one last thing. When you have an attraction to other people, like Harry, myself, or anyone else, there's an attraction because you're like-minded. We think the same way. Where it actually becomes really clear and you become addicted to the level of contribution and connection with another human being is when you feel the congruency and you know this person's value system in their heart. This is when you start to shift to like-hearted. Like-minded, I see what you see. Oh, I'm hearing what you're saying. Like-hearted is, I feel you. I love you. I connect with you. I know who you are. God bless you, my brother. God bless you, my sister. Like-hearted has the trust and faith. And that means that you're being genuine and they are too.
100%. So all of those links that you said, they'll be on the text underneath the YouTube channel under Chuck's episode. And Chuck, I'm going to end the same way I usually do, but guys, Chuck will be involved with our youth leadership summits, even the virtual ones, and so on. So you will be getting to hear more from him, but please make sure you leave some love comments on the page. But what I need to do is just close as we usually do. Let's go straight back. Thank you so much for that, brother. I want to make sure we come back to here, and then the last slide, as always, make sure if you haven't subscribed, subscribe, hit that little bell button so you can not only just see the Empowering Youth show, but also the Empowering Women show. And like every time I say it, follow us on Instagram, follow us on Facebook, and then you've got the Harry Singer Foundation website. We can find out more information, and you can donate towards our youth leadership summits and women's programs. So thank you again for joining us for an episode. Make sure you comment, make sure you subscribe, and we'll see you on another episode really soon.